What's up, guys? Welcome to the latest podcast episode with a fellow mentor of mine, honestly. He really, carried me out through my college career and helped me with a lot of different endeavors within cybersecurity. So I'm really excited for this episode, just to dive in on what he's about, what he does, and the things that he are interested in, and potential goals, future goals, things of that nature. So, of course, you can introduce yourself.
Okay, how's everybody doing? It's nice to be here, Jillian. My students call me Professor. Oh, my name is Akurede,
Yes,
and my friends call me Kola. And I'm happy to be here.
of course. Yes, thank you for coming. Um, like I said, very excited. We have, a couple questions that I think I want to ask to be able to give to the viewers. A couple of insights, of course, on cybersecurity. That's our main focus. And of course, to talk about the organization that I'm a part of. Still, even though I've graduated and things like that, I'm still very much a part of it. And really appreciate the things that you have done for me, and a lot of the people who are also in the organization that are pursuing cybersecurity. Really think it's a really great opportunity for a lot of people. Um, so yeah, I think just tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, um, and I think mainly how you got into cybersecurity, or just became so passionate about learning it.
Okay, so I was born in what the whole world might probably term one of the dreadest place in cybersecurity. It's Lagos, Nigeria.
Hmm.
It might practically almost sound like a place where we have bad PR. But we're not that bad. We're just loud about
Yeah.
the whole world is loud about how they view Lagos, Nigeria as like a scam capital of the world or whatever. There are other countries that, based on data, that do scams and cybersecurity things. So I was born in Lagos. Um, I'm a mathematician. I did my undergrad in math, and after graduating, I worked in a bank for a little bit in my home country, and this is an international bank. It folded up right now, though. Not folded up, it got acquired by another bank. And so while working in the bank, I worked in operations and I worked in also operational risk. Operational risk is basically just gathering data and observing what people do in terms of like, is there like kind of like I would say a constant track record of making errors.
Right.
So now, if you're making errors constantly, there are two likely scenarios or two likely suspicion we have for you. You're either going to get us in trouble unintentionally,
Hmm.
which is that you're prone to error and you might do something bad that will harm the organization, or you're tilting towards doing some sort of fraud.
Right.
So we track those data and we see over time that if you're kind of like a risk to the organization in a
Yeah.
sense operationally.
Yeah.
So that's one of the areas of cybersecurity back in the uh, 2000s, early 2000s and early 2010s.
Hmm.
We call it operational risk. So I've always been interested in compliance, operational risk, and things like that.
Yeah.
So I came to the US in 2013 for graduate program and for math still, but I've always, I never left the interest in security,
Right.
compliance, and things like that.
Right.
So, and over time, I've been in math, but I've always still had that view that I can always go back and try
Yeah.
to see how I can help in that
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah. No, I mean, it sounds like you're kind of like groomed for the mindset of like risk and like compliance and things like that. Like
Well,
risk.
if you grow up in Lagos, you have a you have
Yeah.
both side of your brain, the
Yeah.
criminal mind and
Yeah.
also the
Yeah.
the security mind. So
Yeah.
you could fall. There's a thin line
Right.
somewhere.
Right.
So you could fall on the criminal side, or you could fall on the good side. So
Right.
I
Right.
chose to follow the good
For
side. I
sure.
mean,
Yeah.
it's not like those guys. And I'm not here to bash or anything
Mm,
my homeland, which I love so much, and I
mm,
go there every
mm.
year. But I'm saying that uh, in that sense, there's a fine line, and we could walk most of the people that fall on the other side
Right.
to the good side, and
Yeah.
there's a lot of positives from there.
Yeah. Yeah. That's amazing. I think I've told you before how I really admire or appreciate a lot from Nigerians. You guys have like such an insane work ethic,
Yeah,
and I think that's really something that I just like. I'm like, wow, like hats off for sure.
yeah.
So yeah, so that's really amazing. I think that was great to just let the people know where you come from, what you've been through, what your journey is about. Um, and throughout this conversation, I want to touch a little bit on GRC. Um, I think a lot of people, definitely my age, when they're first starting out in cybersecurity, of course, they just head right into the technical side of things, and of course, because we have the energy to just do all this, defending or hacking, or we can stay up long hours. We have the energy for it and stuff like that. So for them, for the people who are going into cybersecurity, really only focusing on the technical side, what do you think you could explain to them in terms of compliance and risk and things like that, just in case maybe that might be something that they didn't even know that they were interested in and could have a very good long-term benefit on their journey, just so they kind of know what it's about.
Okay. So to be honest, for most of us, we have this, I would say, this view or like this prototype
Mm,
of a cybersecurity analyst,
yeah,
or somebody in cybersecurity, some guy in hoodie
yeah,
in the dark,
yeah.
covering his face and things like that.
Hmm.
Now, that's what every kid would like to do,
Hmm.
which is hacking
Right.
and doing all this technical stuff. So, I would like to basically give a rundown before I go into the advice. Now, there's the technical aspect of cybersecurity, and there's the non-technical aspect of cybersecurity. I'm more down with the non-technical aspect because maybe because I'm older
Mm,
and I've seen the technical aspect,
mm,
and I almost feel like the reward in the technical aspect is very minimal and is not appreciated, and people don't see it quicker. When the non-technical aspect, you could get quick rewards, you're closer to management and things like that.
right.
And I think there's a maturity level that is required to go into the non-technical aspect. Most of us, and like I would advise you, and I would tell you, maybe around 28, 29, 30, you should be moving away
Hmm.
from the technical to the
Yeah.
non-technical.
Yeah.
So if I were to talk to, depending on my audience, a 16-year-old to a 22-year-old, I don't see anything wrong with technical, and that's where I want you to start from. And I'll break it down into a couple of technical aspects that, from my own point of view,
Hmm.
first will be the ethical hacking side, bounty hunting, which is also hacking pretty
Right.
much.
Right.
There's the SOC analyst, which are people in security operation centers. There's also general. I will put general IT, just helping people fix stuff
Right.
under that
Yeah.
too. And there are other aspects with more niche.
Yeah.
There's also the attack side, which is the attack framework. There's threat hunting. There's things like that,
Mm,
right? Which we can do. There's the research aspect of it also, which is just coming up with new
for
ideas to
sure.
to do to do defense.
Yeah.
Now, with the advent of AI, there's even more opportunities there to do more defense because, like, you have to get highly technical too and understand the vulnerabilities or the weaknesses that come from the AI
Right.
side.
Right.
So those are all technical aspects of things. And every 16, 15, 16-year-old to 25-year-old, if you're just coming into cybersecurity, I would say start with that.
Hmm.
It's always good to start with that.
Yeah.
Start with A plus, network plus, understand your ports, understand your basic vulnerabilities, understand intrusion detection system, intrusion prevention systems, firewalls, and things like that.
Yeah.
Understand the whole landscape of defense in depth and things like that. So now, when you understand that, it is easier to now transition to the non technical
For
side.
sure.
Now, the non technical side, will be things like vendor risk management or third party risk management, which is just uh, your organization or your enterprise is trying to uh, take on board a new vendor.
Mhm.
Somebody has to kind of vet them before they get accepted, weigh up all the risk that they're bringing into our landscape,
Right.
and then you rank those risks from critical to high to medium to low risk. And now, depending on management and their risk tolerance level,
Mhm.
that aggregate, or like the scores that I've assigned, like critical, each level that I've assigned will depend on the appetite, the risk appetite of that
For
organization,
sure.
right?
Yeah. Mhm.
Then that's on vendor risk. There's the GRC, which is the governance, risk, and compliance. Under governance, risk, and compliance, governance is just basically policies, standards, frameworks, and how to make sure that the governance of that IT systems or that environment is properly followed, depending on the policy or the standard that they choose to follow. The risk, of course, just risk assessment generally.
Yeah.
Then the C part is the compliance. What to do, what not to do. What to do, what not to do. Then there's also training and awareness. There's so many beautiful areas in
Mhm.
risk management. There's even on the vendor side, there's the response people who respond to any kind of onboarding questions.
Right.
There's also the people who ask for, okay, these vendors are bringing what we this is what we need from you, and things
Right.
like that.
Right.
So
Right.
it's a very huge landscape. There's data governance, people who just manage the life cycle of data to see, okay, uh, after using up all this data, do we still need to retain this data? Do we need to get rid of this data? Like in the EU, there's something called the GDPR,
Yes.
which is a standard that requires that every EU resident, not citizen,
Mhm.
resident,
Mhm.
you cannot hold their data beyond 72 hours without any cost.
Yeah.
So those are very, very niche space in the
Mhm.
non-technical
Mhm.
space.
Amazing. Yeah, I think for sure in the cyberspace when you're doing technical stuff, um, I would say you kind of get, a little bit of tunnel vision thinking that this is the only thing that's in there, but you need another set of eyes to oversee the technical people to make sure that they're, falling in line, like you said, like, doing this, doing that correctly. And I mean, it's extremely, extremely important aspect of just technical security. So really, really interesting. And so I think I want to go more in depth on a little bit of Risk Lab,
Mm.
honestly. The organization that is at FIU. So, I mean, I can allow you to kind of, describe it and let them know.
So before I go into the risk lab, I'd like to give you a bit of commendation. I'm not trying to talk you up or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, uh, he's one of the founding pioneering students, or even the founding member of the risk lab. So what is the risk lab basically? Um, the main idea of the risk lab started in 1999
Yes.
in the University of Toronto, and it's this guy, Louis Seco. And basically, the risk lab idea is how do we bridge the gap between industry and academia,
Yeah.
and how do we create a pipeline between industry and academia. So originally, the academia came into University of Toronto, and they just met this smart professor, and they told him, we have this need. We know that it almost seems like we have problems that cannot be solved by people in our organization.
Mhm.
Is there a way you guys can help us solve these problems? So they brought the problems. The academia didn't come up with the solution first. The problem was brought first. And they found a solution, which was, okay, let's train people specifically tailored. And this was only, at that time, was only tailored towards basically financial risk, credit risk, and things like that. So they tailored their classes, which is the program is it's a financial math program
Hmm.
in University of Toronto. So they developed a tailored master's program towards the Toronto financial environment
Yeah.
landscape, right?
Yeah.
Kind of like the Wall Street of Toronto.
Right.
So that's what they did.
Mm.
And they built classes that they feel that can come up with models or technical things that can help all those people in the market
Mm.
to have trained people that can execute this. And
Right.
that pipeline started working. And as it worked, they now extended the risk lab to other countries
Right.
like um, Switzerland,
Mm.
like Germany, Munich in Germany, and there's also like Helsinki. There's also Madrid in Spain. So as that went on, one of the guy, the professor, that the math professor was is actually a friend to Professor Villamo, who
Yeah.
happens to be a mentor for me.
Right.
And we heard about it. And one of my colleague, who is Professor Hernandez, happened to have gone to University of Toronto also to do his master's degree there.
Wow.
So, and I've always had this idea, okay, how can I bring all these expenses that I've had in the bank, and how can I bring back this my security knowledge and
Yeah.
things like that, and we kind of merged it. So instead of us only focusing, so one aspect of the risk lab focuses on the financial risk part of it, which is done by my mentor, Professor Viamo.
Right.
The second aspect is the AI modeling aspect, which is done by Professor Hernandez. And I am doing the cybersecurity aspect, which is relatively new. We
Yeah.
just created it from ground up, and you were part of it from the beginning.
Yeah.
So that's how, and that started in 2022. And we only had three students, which was you, Jalen, and one other person. The guy
Other
graduated
people.
or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's how the risk lab actually started.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So right now we have well over 120 students, 120 students, and the active members that I would say multidisciplinary. We don't discriminate
Right.
by race, by gender, by courses,
Mm.
by degrees or whatever. Everybody's welcome to come as long as you're open to work, you're willing to get into an internship, you're willing to get trained, and you get free opportunities to be able to get your certifications, AWS, um, Security Plus, Network Plus, A Plus, CYS A Plus,
Hmm.
and ethical hacking types
Yeah.
also certifications.
Definitely. I can definitely say this organization has been one of the few things in my life that I've seen develop over a long period of time, slowly too. So it's really like, I mean, it's amazing to be a part of and to witness something grow. When you remember not too long ago, like you said, just
Yeah.
a couple of
It
students,
seems like yesterday,
like
right? It was just the three
literally,
or four of us, right?
yeah, yeah,
And we just were just aggressive. We
yeah,
wanted to we wanted to do well.
yeah.
Like that was it. And I remember what you and the other Jalen had said at that time. I didn't believe that I could have people that we care about each other.
Hmm.
Like you were more. I'll let you take it up after I say this, make
Hmm.
this statement.
Hmm.
Like you were more, you're closer to the risk lab than your major.
Right, for
Like
sure.
if the risk lab was a major, that was your
For
major pretty
sure.
much.
Yeah, yeah. That was. It felt like a side hustle almost, but like, because when you're working a job and then but you want to, let's say, if you want to be an entrepreneur or something. You go to your 9 to 5, but then you go home, you work on your business. That was kind of like what it felt like,
Hmm.
like even though your 9 to 5 is helping you, stay afloat and survive, like the side hustle is like the main thing that's going to like propel you to a new level. So that's really what it felt like. And I have so much gratitude for the organization. Of course, recently I was able to land a job, and a lot of the credit goes to, of course, Professor and a lot of the people that I met, honestly, in the organization, the friends that I have that I was able to make, who are also pursuing the same thing that I am pursuing, was really really a game changer for me, and I'm so happy that I was able to find out about it and join. um
Not to take it over from you. I
yeah, yeah,
want
go
to
ahead.
hear from your perspective. I
Yeah,
would ask you this question.
yeah.
So what has the journey been like for you? Like being a pioneering member and now how you looked at everything from that 2022
Mhm.
till you graduated in 2024
Mm,
and still even being an active member of sort,
mm.
because you're like an advisory role and things like that, and you're still part of most
Yeah,
of the meetings,
yeah,
making sure that these kids
yeah.
coming behind you are good. How can you give me like a rundown of your experience?
It was literally the definition of just trusting in the process, I would say. Um, that whole experience of, being consistent, studying, like me and a couple of students were studying for certification, Security Plus, CompTIA, and things like that. And just like, again, it almost felt like a brotherhood, just attacking something every single day, consistent, just meeting up, seeing how everyone's doing, see how everyone's progress is.
Hmm.
Um, and, having the willingness really to just learn and to gather a bunch of knowledge, and it was just like a team. And I can't stress how important really that is, because as we know, of course, being in cybersecurity, there are a lot of lone wolves. There are a lot of people
Yes.
who kind of just want to do things on their own and figure out on their own, which is it's definitely commendable, but it things just change when you have like a tribe, people that you can bounce certain ideas off of,
Hmm.
like a little, like literally like a little ecosystem. So again, I mean, just going through it all the way back from 2022, right? 2022,
Yeah,
yeah,
22.
2022. Absolute amazing experience that I will never forget. Um, just seeing something grow from the ground up, like literally ground zero to where it is now. One of the few things I will just literally remember for the rest of my life. And I think, things like that is what tend to have people remember things more often, because like when you see something literally start from ground zero and then build up to something that's actually amazing and beautiful and beneficial.
Okay, so you've spoken from like the student experience. I
Yeah.
want you to speak from like the builder or the pioneer's experience,
Okay.
being a leader
Yeah,
also.
yeah, yeah.
Like we there was no process.
Right.
We didn't have a run book.
Right.
We were just creating these things.
Right.
You, me, Jalen,
Yeah.
Hernandez,
Yeah.
and who was then? I think it was I forgot his name now. Slack. Some you remember that kid? He
Uh,
was in the business school, but So now talk from that corporate
right.
structure, like just building out a run book when
Yeah.
we didn't have anything,
Yeah.
and you having to be there on Friday, training other people and
Hmm.
carrying the bag.
Hmm. Definitely. A whole nother fruitful experience in itself. I think that's something that's really rare, especially amongst students who are just going to school just to learn, and retain information. Being someone in a seat where, um, I'm looking over students, making sure that they're, doing what they want to do, follow a certain path they want to follow, doing presentations, teaching certain things about, pen testing and just certain aspects of cybersecurity. That really felt fulfilling, I would say, because I'm actively helping people figure out exactly what they want to do in cybersecurity, because it can be so overwhelming, so many different paths to go down. So when you actually like help students and you realize how many students are actually don't know what it is they want to do in
And
cybersecurity.
depending on you too,
Yeah,
like you're
yeah,
just a
yeah.
student like them,
That's
but they're depending on you.
definitely that's a lot of, I wouldn't say a lot of pressure, but it's definitely a good amount of weight that felt meaningful, and I was doing something that was worthwhile. So, and even just doing that, I'll carry that for the rest of my life, being able to teach and because teaching really helps me in itself. It cements the knowledge and really gets me to remember the things that I need to remember for my career. So that's something I'll carry for the rest of my life for sure. And I think it's definitely an important aspect to learn, to be able to learn and then pass it on to the people who were just in your shoes not too long ago. So that was a big one for sure that I got from Risk Lab. So thank you.
Yeah.
Um, so another question pertaining, just the Risk Lab or university field. How do you think universities can better prepare students for the fast changing demands of the cybersecurity job market. And I think before you start, in terms of helping me with cybersecurity, I don't think school really did too much
Hmm.
of that. But of course, it kind of did because I was able to get into risk lab. So it's like it's pros and cons with university, and as of course, since we're specifically talking about such a niche industry that requires more than just a degree, um, there's a lot of awareness that needs to go around students to let them know that the degree isn't the end all be all. You need to do things outside, whether it's certifications or different labs that can help you refine your skills. That's really important. But I would like to see the universities put in a little bit more, which I think they're actually doing, because cybersecurity is becoming such a growing field. I would definitely like to see universities put more effort into just letting students know who are in cybersecurity, like let them know, like, all right, this is what you need to do, giving them a blueprint of like what it is that they need to learn, or just to get them started to understand what it is that actually interests them. So you being a professor and being in a university right now, what could you see certain things that universities can do and change to be able to help those students who are pursuing cybersecurity?
Okay, so there's this movement right now that, oh, hey, when I get a certification, I'm all good, I'm all set. It works. I have to agree. And there's also this movement that, oh, I don't need to go to school, go to college. Now, from my point of view, college or universities uh, almost feel like a way to step yourself up from that minimum wage to a certain level of wage. And I have to be honest, it gives you, I can say it in two ways. One is a sense of security that you're not going to hand the minimum wage, takes you from $10 to maybe 25. I'm talking generally now, I'm not talking about just cybersecurity.
Yeah.
Then also on the other side, it gives you a sense of entitlement, which is also not good.
Right.
Now, in the traditional sense, there's also other rewards that come from going to a university, which is you make friendships that are eternal at times.
Sure.
Yeah, like between you and I now, we're like friends. We
Yeah.
go on some Fridays, you just call me up, hey, professor, what you doing? I'm like, yeah, I'm chilling.
Yeah.
You want to go to, where do we go? What's that restaurant we go to?
Chili's.
Chili's,
Yeah.
yeah. And we just go to Chili's and
Yeah.
we have a drink,
Yeah.
we talk about
Yeah.
life generally. And that's because we have this relationship. There are other friends that you have
Yeah.
coming, just being an academic setting.
Yeah.
There are other things that you could gain, which is the networking, the fact that you have an alumni to draw from.
Right.
That's on that side. Now let's narrow it to cybersecurity. For cybersecurity, if you slowly, or if you, or even computer science generally, if you focus solely on the training you're gonna get to the school from the school, you might not end up succeeding,
Yeah.
because the school will not tell you, will not force you to get an internship. The school will not force you to do practice. The
Yeah.
school will not, you're just trying to get A's or whatever, and you just graduate. Then you graduate, you have a paper,
Yeah.
and you're not good for the industry.
Right.
Now, part of what we need to do is basically for us to have this kind of organization that we have. It's a lab, it's also an organization. It has other franchises all over the world where we can connect. We have research that we do with them. You've met these people.
Yeah.
Louis Seco,
Mm-hmm.
professor, came from Toronto at the beginning of our session, right? Like
Yeah.
when we started the Risk Lab in Miami. There was also, you remember, now what the school also does for us, or being professors, gives us kind of like a leverage, an opportunity to be able to pull people like Jason Dion that we did, right?
Yes. Yes.
It's almost impossible for us to do that,
Right.
right?
Right.
How did I connect with him? I posted what the Risk Lab did. He connected with me, and you guys were saying, "Oh, it's a scam. It's probably
Deep fake.
it's a deep fake or
Yeah.
something like that." So
Yeah.
we were still guessing. Then
Right.
somehow we brought him down. We had 200 people
Yeah.
attend that event, which was amazing. It was a learning opportunity for the students
Yeah.
and even people in the industry that were on Zoom that attended.
Yeah.
We brought other industry practitioners. And with this kind of lab and organization and a sense of camaraderie and things like that, we're able to also pull the president of FIU at the time,
Right.
right? And he was like, what? Does this thing exist? And all of you, I could see it in all your eyes that we were all proud
Yeah.
especially you and Jalen, that okay, five of us built this stuff from ground up,
Yeah.
and we have the whole school at our beck and call.
Right.
Apparently, what we learned was that he went to the Senate meeting,
Mm.
the next Senate meeting, which was a week or two after September 5 that we had that event,
Yes.
and we made him the guest of honor and started blowing you guys on at, oh, the Risk Lab, as you guys, have you guys heard
Yeah.
about it?
Yeah.
Was telling all the other faculty. And this has nothing to do with computer science.
Mm.
It has nothing to do with math. It has nothing to do with any kind of major. It has something to do with just being able to, you guys being able to have a sense of community,
Yeah.
and also being to know that you have a connection in the industry, and you can get internship quickly, and you can start being able to activate and trigger yourself from even a sophomore
Yeah.
or a junior.
That exposure.
Yeah.
It's absolute key for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we hope, and we're trying to find other strategic opportunities with the school.
Yeah.
We have some of them right now. We have this department. I'm not gonna name there yet
Mm.
because we've not really officially done this.
Yeah.
They have a grant that can fund uh, up to 30 students to go through a training
Mm.
for a year,
Yeah.
and they will pay those students. And we have all these students that have all these certifications. At least right now, we have a 16 out of 16. First time taking the test and passing. Security plus, pen test plus, and things like that that you guys have done.
Yeah.
Now, they want our students, and they're going to pay them, and then we're going to put them in an internship. Right now, the only thing we're trying to do is get employers to take up these students for free.
Mm.
They just have to sign, and they have to make sure the students are going through those cybersecurity experience
Right.
and training on the job. The students will be paid by that department that I'm not, it's not official yet. And they will be Risk Lab students, other students in Miami-Dade High School, FIU students, whoever cares to be part of it, and even other students from other schools.
Right.
We've had students from FAU who were in my class
Yeah.
doing summers, transient students, or UF who want to be part of the Risk Lab,
Right.
but we're still finding ways to kind of bring everybody on board.
Right. Right. Absolutely amazing. So many different ideas, so many things that are cooking up, especially the the pouring the intention of trying to do CTFs and things like that. So many things that are going to be in the process of uh, happening in real time. So anybody that's watching this who is from FIU, please look, search for Risk Lab. Um, you will find us. If you are, of course, if you are pursuing cybersecurity, AI, machine learning, things of that nature. I cannot stress how important it is to really have a team with you, ecosystem that will have no problem with guiding you and helping you out on your journey.
You want to speak to how we did at the CTF, Miami CTF that we attended in Miami
Yes,
Dade?
yes, yes. Miami-Dade College. That was how long ago was that
It
now?
was in April.
April. Wow. Yeah. Crazy. Yeah, we competed in a capture the flag event down at Miami-Dade College. Um, and for those of you who don't know what a CTF is, capture the flag. And basically, the whole point of them is to, you have a list of questions to answer, and you have to use your technical knowledge to be able to find these questions, or flags, if you want to call them, answers to these questions. And they're all, made in different ways. They're designed differently, to challenge you, to really test you on your skills. And yeah, Risk Lab had competed one not so long ago, and we had say like three or four students in the top 10.
No, we
We
had
had how many we have?
three in the top
Three in the
five
top five,
and eight in the top 10.
eight in the top 10. Yes, so we did very well, and it was a great experience. Just being able to compete, and there's CTFs all the time throughout the years, different places which we're going to be engaging in as well, and hopefully have our own
Yes.
sometime soon.
Yes, we're planning to have our own. We're not sure if it's gonna be this fall.
Yeah.
we're gonna plan it in such a way that it's gonna be centered around cybersecurity, AI, and environmental sustainability protection,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And most likely this will be sponsored or by Institute of Environment,
Right.
and also because the Risk Lab, just to mention that we are under the Institute of Environment and partly under the math department.
Yeah.
We have some partnerships in the business school and in computer science
Right.
also. So another thing that I wanted to mention is that there's no discrimination in the Risk Lab.
Yeah.
You don't need to have any technical experience. You just need to want to be a part of it, and you need to want to just learn something
Yeah.
technical. And it doesn't have to be extremely technical. You could be like me
Mm.
that does the non-technical aspect of cybersecurity, which is the GRC that we explained earlier.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah. Great. Beautiful stuff. Um, so I think we could touch on again just a little bit of GRC one more time.
Okay.
Um, from your knowledge of just risk awareness, how would you say you would approach building a specific type of culture within an organization for um, the mindset of being able to handle risk? I kind of want to give them the mindset of what it means to actually be able to mitigate risk and to be able to handle the security side of things. Um, and also because as we know, or maybe we don't know, the main crux of a lot of breaches and a lot of malicious activity is through human error. One popular aspect of what adversaries tend to really feed off of is social engineering, just
Mm.
being able to talk to somebody and manipulate them into
In street word, finesse them.
yeah. Literally just without them even knowing,
Yep.
on some, I don't even know, just hypnosis.
Yep. Without voodoo too.
Yeah. Just yeah, just giving out sensitive information like it's nothing.
Yep.
What type of culture do you think you would be able to build with your employees, with your company, on letting them know, like, hey, like, you can't just be out here giving people whatever they want just because they're asking for it.
Okay, so I'll start first by this data. I think this was from 2023 or 2024. Only about 15% of organizations worldwide have security awareness or even just security
Yeah.
consciousness. Um, the easiest type of crimes these days to do is cybersecurity crime because the chances of being prosecuted
Yeah.
is 1 out of 10,000. That's 0.0001. So for every 10,000 cyber criminal, only one is prosecuted. So there's a lot of motivation to want to perpetrate cyber
For
crimes, right?
sure. Yeah.
Now, having said that, how do you bring this into the consciousness of most organizations? Um, Before I even go into that, I would like to say that there are a lot of cyber crimes going on today,
Mm.
but most organizations don't report it because either they don't want to get embarrassed
Mm-hmm.
or they don't want their customers to panic
Yeah.
or they don't want to lose customers because if customers hear that it's a cybersecurity fraud has been done on you, they will not trust you and they might want to move to other competing
Yeah.
organizations.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of cyber crimes that are going on that are not reported.
Oh.
And it is not required in some states to report it. Mostly ransomware. What is ransomware? Someone gets into your data, steals it, encrypts it, and tells you, "I have your data. Pay me so amount of money,
Mhm.
and I'll give you the data back."
Right.
And the government, even at the highest level, the state level or even the federal government level, they don't tell you what to do. It's your choice. Depending on how quickly or how much you need the data, you might be forced to pay
Right.
and get it. Then you now have to decide, do I want to report this or not report it?
Right.
So there's so much under reporting in cyber crimes. Okay, that's that. Now that that is settled, how do we build this or imbibe this culture of cybersecurity? First, there has to be what we call management buy-in. There has to be somebody in the senior management level. When I talk about senior management, VPs, CEO, COO,
Mm-hmm.
CFO, CIO, all those big guys, they need to first, one person of like a group of five in that senior management has to have say, okay, we're doing this, guys,
Yeah.
because we need to protect ourselves. Without that, no cybersecurity program in any organization would function well.
Right.
So when there's management buying, it's easier for them to recruit a CISO or a director of cybersecurity that can start a cybersecurity program.
Right.
Now, at that point, they now need to look at their capability maturity level. Where are we? Are we at Excel level, or are we at like a bit of automation, or
Mm-hmm.
uh are we kind of okay, not doing bad, not doing good? Then we're getting good now, and now we're perfect. You
Right.
get what I mean?
Right.
So you need to determine what your capability maturity level is. Then senior management has to be able to provide a budget to support that cybersecurity program. Then they need to assemble a team, decide how they want to go. They need to have a framework. They need to have different types of IT audits that comes in SOC 2, SOC 1,
Mm-hmm.
that's at the lowest level,
Mm-hmm.
or they decide to adopt a framework. I'm sorry, I'm using SOC and all these things.
Yeah.
It's just to
Yeah.
say
Yeah.
it's just a low level audit
Right.
to make sure that you're kind of tutoring or tending towards being able to have a secure
Yeah.
cybersecurity landscape.
Yeah.
And as you advance, you can decide to take up NIST, which is like a higher American version
Yeah.
of a framework, or should I say, standard that you need to try to match up to.
Yeah.
Or you take ISO, which is an international standard, and they have like a clearly defined rumble, things that you have to do to be able to pass or to be able to gain that certification in a sense. So I'm trying to use very relatable words
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
So with all that in place, then you can start small, assemble a team. Then you also need to do training and awareness. It is difficult to break technical security.
Yeah.
Usually, the systems don't make mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
If it is properly set up, if I have an intrusion detection system, intrusion prevention system, if I have a firewall properly set up, or should I say, a whole defense in depth
Yeah.
in place,
Yeah.
most times it cannot be broken. But they could have the best weakness is the human.
Right.
And like we said, I can adopt different tactics, different strategy using social engineering, using email scams,
Yep.
using phishing, smishing, and other types of combination. Trojan us. If you open your system, somebody can sit there and
Yeah.
try to get into your system. So the human or the people are the easiest target.
Right.
So that's why we need to be properly trained. So that's why training and awareness is very key
Yeah.
in any organization. Even if you don't have a cybersecurity program, you need to train your organization, your people to be able to identify, oh, this looks like a phishing email. You report it
Right.
and they tell you if it is or not.
Very essential stuff. And I think it's just important to know these things, especially if you're pursuing cybersecurity and you get a job. You want to know what you're getting yourself into and understand how really strict it is and the guidelines and the standards, how many there are um, for protecting data. Making sure breaches don't happen and sensitive information is stolen. So amazing. And I think that will definitely cover the podcast. Um, again, Professor O, really appreciate you for
Thank,
coming and
thank you. Always a
just
pleasure.
providing knowledge for not only me, but of course the viewers and people who are trying to go down this path. So thank you again, and thank you to Risk Lab for everything you guys have done.
Thank you.
Yeah, really appreciate the guidance. And again, if you want to join, come down, contact us. I will definitely put our LinkedIn in there, Instagram in the bio, your LinkedIn in the bio. Um, so if you guys just have any questions, you can email me or message him. And we will definitely be happy to tag you along and be a part of the organization at FIU.
Just to make a quick correction,
Yeah.
not a correction, but just just to add,
Yeah.
I'm not discouraging anybody from going into the non-technical aspect
Mm-hmm.
early.
Mm-hmm.
Some people might want to get in early.
Mm-hmm.
Like you, I advise most of the time that people experience the technical
Right.
aspect up until
Right.
25
Right.
or something like that.
Yeah.
But I have a student, and you know him.
Yeah.
I don't want to mention his name, but
Yeah.
you know him. At 19,
Yeah.
20, he had already decided I'm doing GRC,
Yeah. Yeah.
and he's on that path. Even though for him, he started really early
Yeah.
with network plus, A plus,
Yeah.
security plus.
Yeah.
So he has all this certification already at
Mm-hmm.
19.
Mm-hmm.
But now he said he want to go into the managerial aspect, which is the non-technical aspect, and he's already working towards his CISA and
Yep.
C-Risk, which is the non-technical aspect, and
Yep.
it's just going to be a manager and just follow that
Yeah.
route to the
Yeah.
top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. I think if you have that passion of just like business, the business side of things, for sure, go
And
go.
managing people,
Yeah, managing people.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I met a couple of people who really have a hunger and a real life, like uh, just the happiness of just being able to manage people and be in that kind of a business setting. Definitely go all for it for sure. If that's
Yeah,
something that
and they get paid more.
Yeah, true. Very true.
They get
Very
paid more.
true. So, thank you again, Professor.
You're welcome.
Appreciate you.
Good to see you.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
All
Thank you
right.
guys for watching
Thank
and
you.
tune in to the next episode. Thank you.